Hey, Judge, are you listening? What he's doing is planning a sellout tour at MSG.
He thinks he has won this, Nancy.
It's turned right back around to me, 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 me. He thinks he could do anything.
He's going to come back with a bang.
Now, if you look at his record sales, if you look at his concert sales, if you look at the way his last album flopped, it's laughable.
This is a narcissist who's been empowered.
He has absolutely no remorse.
You're in there telling us you're going to be the Martin Luther King of domestic violence and free everybody from their evil thoughts?
And he's showing absolutely no concern for the victims at all.
You've still got dozens and dozens of women that say they were drugged and raped at these parties, the freak-offs. I saw what happened to Cassie. I saw the bruises. I heard the stories. Put on some makeup over those bruises and get back in the ring. All that BS, I'm talking directly to you, Judge. Now let's see what you do at sentencing. Are you gonna buy what he's selling in court? I mean, Troy Slayton joining me. Slayton, as much HELL as I give him, is a veteran trial lawyer. He's won a lot of cases. Do I like it? No. Is it true? Yes. He's a renowned LA criminal defense attorney. Slayton, just like you hear Shooter talking about PR and appearances, I'm sure you tell your clients when they go in court, at least act interested. Act like you're taking notes. Dress up as much as you can. Don't look like a slob. Don't look evil. Don't look menacing. And don't scare the jury with freaky looks. I'm sure you tell them all of that. Like, look at the O.J. Simpson trial. Simpson looked like, a male model sitting there taking notes, looking studious. I think he even got the Bible out. That said, isn't this kind of a bad look before sentencing? Instead of talking about all the good things you're going to do when you get out to help other people, you're talking about a sellout tour to MSG?
Of course, you want to explain all the mitigating factors to a judge because that's what the judge is weighing at the time of sentencing. But is a person, once they've been convicted and done their time and gotten out of jail, are they supposed to just hide under a rock? Or are they allowed to create art? He was an artist. I can think of other people that did horrible things. Woody Allen, Roman Polanski, others that did horrible things, maybe, and yet they still are able
John Wayne
to
Gacy
create
said he's an
amazing
artist
art.
too. Remember John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. He says he's an artist. So does Jodi Arias. So what?
But this was a failed prosecution.
It's an artist. My rear end. That means nothing.
Sometimes a jury gets it wrong. Sometimes a jury gets it right. But that's our system. Just because a jury came out with a verdict that you don't like,
Lord, I asked you a question and you go off on the system. What's next? Are you going to spout out the Constitution? I asked you
Nancy,
a look about a look. This is a bad look. He's supposed to be helping other people. Nobody said hide under a rock. And you said when he gets out of jail. He's not out of jail.
If he's able to earn money, then he's able to better help the community, better help his family, better help others. I mean, he's even talked about wanting to be a sex victims counselor.
Put him up. A sex victims counselor. Okay, you know what? Take him down. Joining me now, a special guest, Dr. Dwayne Hendricks, former warden, MDC, also Sheridan, Oregon, former senior warden, U.S. Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Prisons. It goes on and on and on. President, New Daylight Foundation, and author. Who are you? See it, say it, seize it. Dr. Hendricks, what say you about Sean Combs' claim, I don't like the food? Wah.
I say what I've been saying for the last 10 months. He just needs to be quiet. He needs to focus on his sentencing and all these different mixed messages from his attorneys about a pardon, about the conditions of the facility, about blaming the victims and all this other stuff. He just needs to focus on what's going to happen in front of him. The thing that really pisses me off about all of this, if he really wants to make a difference, he really wants to take ownership of his actions, he needs to have some skin in the game. And he's not going to have any skin in the game until he is sentenced. That is the only time that he's really going to be able to say, okay, I did something. I'm going to do my time, whatever that is, and move on. And as far as him trying to do his time at home, it's not going to happen. He can only serve up to 10% of his sentence on home confinement. The only way that would change is if they give him a deal, sort of like they gave Ghislaine Maxwell, where they allowed her to go to a camp a couple of years ahead of her time, doing 10 years or 12 years at a camp versus 10. So in terms of the attorneys using low-hanging fruit that bears no nutrition, talking about box meals and sack meals with maggots, I'm going to tell you something right now. If someone served an inmate a meal with maggots, it would be criminal, and more inmates would be complaining. And here's the other thing, and I'm going to leave it right here. Why is he not advocating for his other inmates in there? He's only talking about himself. Why isn't he talking about prison reform? If the meals are that bad, why don't he talk about prison reform other than just being an abuse counselor, which will never, ever happen?
Dr. Dwayne Hendricks, I believe you said, I'm going to leave it right there, but I know you're used to being the big warden at MDC. You're in Nancy land now, and you're not going anywhere until I'm through with you, and I am not through with you, because I want to follow up on something you said that had not occurred to me, and I can't believe Bethany Marshall hasn't been all over this, still saying he didn't do it, instead of taking any responsibility at all. I will throw that to Bethany in a moment, but I want to follow up on this maggot-infested food claim. Now, Dr. Hendricks, isn't it true you're a former warden at M Mother D Dog C Capital, MDC in Brooklyn? Isn't that true?
Yes, it is true.
And isn't that where Sean Combs is now, the MDC, your former workplace, right?
Yes, ma'am. He is.
And he is accusing your workplace of serving maggot-infested food. Now, you said that would be a crime. And I got to tell you something. Dr. Hendricks, I've been in so many CIs, jails, youth facilities, juvie jails, halfway houses, rehabs, you name it, typically looking for witnesses. That said, I've seen the food. I've eaten the food. I never saw anything like that, and I've been in jails and CIs all over this country. Never have I seen anything like that. Explain what you meant when you said that would be criminal.
Okay, so a sack lunch, or what we call a box meal, when the operations have been shut down, whether it be through a COVID outbreak or an incident at the institution, we don't serve inmates hot meals. We give them box meal, what we call a sack lunch, which will be something like a bread, a processed meat such as a bologna sandwich, or a cake, in a bag or something like that, or maybe even a powdered drink, okay? However, and again, those are less than edible than the meals that they serve on a daily basis. But they, in no way, shape, or form will an inmate, because the inmates serve the other inmates, there's no way another inmate will pass on a meal to another inmate with maggots in it. So again, I've questioned some of our box meals in the past in terms of how edible they may or may not be. But in no way, shape, or form, a maggot will be ever served.
Well, what do
to
you mean
another
by
inmate.
that? What do you mean you questioned the box meals in the past? What do you mean you questioned them? Look, I want him in
Because
jail.
they're not,
I don't want him to eat maggots, okay?
I understand that, because they are. I mean, and that's why they can only eat box meals for 3 days. After that, they have to have a hot meal, because ultimately.
Well, what's wrong with the box meal? What do you think was wrong? What, it just didn't taste good?
No, they have no nutritional value. And if you have a person in there with diabetes or any other chronic issues,
so suddenly, Dr. Hendricks, you're worried about nutritional value.
Yeah.
So your
because
concern
ultimately-
was the nutritional value.
Mhm.
Do I have that right?
You have that right. Yes.
Okay.
Because
Have
when
you
inmates
ever
get ill or
seen
die,
what Sean Combs is describing, Dr. Hendricks?
Never, ever. I've never seen a maggot or any worms or any other parasites crawling in a meal that is served in a prison. I have not.
Have you ever eaten the food, Hendricks?
Yes, I have. And as an executive staff member, we were charged with eating at least one meal during the week, whether it's during the lunch meal or if we're making rounds in the evenings or the weekends. And all the duty officers are charged with eating a meal.
Okay, and what was the meal? What did you eat?
So today they're having spaghetti. They're having what I call school pizza, those little square pizzas we used to get in school. and then they'll have maybe a salad. And if they're on a no flesh meal, they may just have like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or some sort of protein, maybe beans or something like that, to make up for the nutritional value for those who don't eat meat.
Okay, now we're talking about vegetarians. So you have vegetarian meals too?
Yes, we have vegetarian meals for religious purposes.
Okay, Dr. Dwayne Hendricks, I'm going to ask you to go out on a limb. Sean Combs is saying he is getting maggot-infested food at your old work home, MDC. Is he lying?
He is lying. Unless I hear otherwise, he is lying, because there's no way inmates serve other inmates. You will never do that. And a staff member wouldn't allow that to happen, because, again, that would be criminal.
Okay. Between Sean Combs and Dr. Dwayne Hendricks, I think I'm going to go with Hendricks. Okay, straight out to Rob Shooter joining us, who practically lived with Sean Combs as his PR guru. Shooter, what would be Diddy's typical breakfast?
Ooh, Diddy for breakfast would have salmon, eggs. It would be very, very glamorous, maybe a little bit of caviar, maybe even some lobster. So he would eat very, very well throughout the day. It would all be prepared by a private chef. He had a private chef that lived with him, and also too, he did enjoy going to restaurants. I very, very, very rarely saw him ever eat dinner at home. 5, 6, 7 nights a week, he would be at the top restaurants in New York City, Miami, and around the world.
I'm sorry, my brain froze at the word caviar. Could you repeat what Combs is used to having for breakfast?
Puff would eat the best, the most expensive, the most luxurious food in the world, including caviar that had probably been flown in, fresh salmon, often flown in from Alaska for him. He lived like a king, Nancy.
Wait. What? He got what from Alaska?
Fresh salmon would be flown in from Alaska, fresh fish.
I'm sorry, they don't have that at Aldi's and Kroger, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, fresh salmon flown in from Alaska for him to have for breakfast?
You better believe it, Nancy. His meat would be coming from Texas, the freshest food you could imagine, and he'd have a chef to prepare all this for him. He was not much of a cook. I never actually ever saw him in the kitchen, and so he had a chef, a full-time chef, that lived at his residence and would travel with him. I was on a private plane once with Puff, and the chef was on the plane when he flew from New York to Miami to LA. That's his plane. A chef would be on that plane. And also too, Nancy, they would serve fine dining on the plane. There was always a lot of food, good food around Puff.
Rob Shooter joining me at robshooter.substack.com, former PR guru for Combs. Wow. What a coinkydink. Yeah. After watching Tasha K's interview with Gina Huen repeatedly, and all the things she said happened to her at the hands of Sean Combs, now suddenly you turn about face and she's writing the judge a legal letter asking for Sean Combs to be freed. What do you think happened?
A couple of things here. First of all, I have great sympathy for her. I feel like she's a victim here who's been used, who's been played. If she's watching right now,
Agree.
Let me talk directly to her. Gina, this is a terrible mistake. He does not care about you. He has never cared about you. And now trying to help him, he's not going to care once he doesn't need you. So it's a very dangerous game she's playing here. Also, too, there might be some financial aspect to this. Is he paying her rent? Is he going to help her out? Puffy can be very generous when he wants stuff. And I think as well, she loved him in a sick, perverted type of way that he encouraged. Now that the other ladies are gone from his life, maybe she thinks she can be his lead, his number one girlfriend. It's a tragic, tragic, tragic place that we're in here, and it's not going to end well.
And let me be clear, we have no evidence that a bribe or a threat occurred to make Gina Huen change her, to make Gina Huen write a legal letter to the judge. But again, Rob Shooter, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. He was already caught, according to reports, trying to convince, that's certainly putting perfume on the pig, a euphemism, trying to convince witnesses to either testify in his behalf or not testify. Okay?
Yeah,
He
I think what we
orchestrated
can,
the whole trial, and it worked. He got off on
it
3
worked.
counts.
It worked. I think what we can say here without any doubt is that the law doesn't apply to Diddy in his own mind. And so Diddy will do whatever it takes to get the result he wants. And if he has to talk to people to get letters, to get endorsements, he will do it. He will promise people the world. When he needs you, there is nobody more charming than Puff. When he doesn't need you, she ain't ever going to hear from him again.
Dr. Bethany, help me out here. Why would any woman in her right mind want to be first in the line of many? I mean, what? You're going to be queen of the victims? You're going to be the victim queen? All these women that want to be with Sean Combs? Why would you want that? I don't get it. And another thing, if you get Sean Combs, it's like a dog chasing a car. What do you do when you catch it?
That's right, Nancy. I think it's part of a cycle. I would imagine when she first met P. Diddy, he charmed her, he gave her gifts, he maybe financially supported her. And then so she bonded with the charming P. Diddy. And then when he started to neglect and abuse her, she began to rationalize, well, that's not the real P. Diddy. The real P. Diddy was the one who gave me the diamond ring and took me out to all that fine dining. And then when the neglect became more severe, she probably rationalized, well, he's just busy. He doesn't have time to call me. And then when he swoops in and manipulates her and says, you know what, baby, I know there's all these stories of other men, of other women, but you know what? Or other men too, Freudian slip. You know, baby, you're the most important one. That's like, oh my God, I am the most important one. We know that the P. Diddy's of this world are incredibly manipulative, and she might be one of these women who just allows herself to be manipulated because in some way she's a frustrating character and she's a sympathetic character all at the same time. Rob Shooter was right. We should have empathy for her, but Tisa Towell's also saying she's in fool's land. We have to hold in tension both sides of Gina.